Hello, welcome to today's edition of Route 664, the Road to Human Kindness. I'm Wes Winston, and I'm the host of the show and the founder and president of the Endow American Network Foundation. I created that 14 years ago. It was originally the Advisors in Philanthropy Foundation and then changed to the Endow American Network Foundation because I think that really says it better for what we're trying to do. We're trying to endow America. How do we endow America? Well, you endow America by creating more charitable resources in the country, by leaving charitable wealth in the community in which you live. You do that once you've created an endowment for yourself. And an endowment is a pot of assets that you're going to use to produce income for the rest of your life, income that you'll never outlive in an amount that you need so that you never outlive it. And you have what you want for your own security. You want to actually have confidence over your money. And that's one of the ways that we do that is by creating an endowment for you through your own assets by using them in the best way possible to create and to engineer an endowment that will serve you. And then when you pass, the way that these plans work, that endowment that you created for yourself, you can direct that into the community. It's very much like Social Security. You pay in Social Security many, many years until you reach the point where you can start to take it out. And that is creating an endowment. You create it through the government in that instance. The government says, you have your employer and you will contribute to your endowment in the future. And when you reach a certain age or you become disabled or you pass away and you have a family, that's the endowment that you're creating by using Social Security. So we believe that I believe that you can also do that. You can also do that using social charity. Social charity is the use of charitable devices to help you create a long-term endowment for yourself in a protected trust, in a protected environment, so that nobody can take it away from you, very similar to what the government is. Well, the government's a promise. This is actually something that you create, and this trust will pay you an endowment while you're alive. It'll pay you income for your lifetime, and the amount of income that it pays depends on the size of that trust. The thing about the Social Charity Trust is that you can create it to any size that you want, meaning that you're not limited by rules that were established like they are for Social Security. The government says that you can't do more than this amount, and that's the maximum you can put in. And when you reach retirement, this is what we promise to pay you. There are no restrictions like that on Social Charity. And also another difference between Social Charity and Social Security is when you reach the point where you're ready to take the income, and if you were to pass away, with Social Security, when you pass away, the money that you accumulated in that endowment actually disappears into the ether of the government. The government decides what it's going to do with that money when you're gone, and not you. But with Social Charity, you have the right to direct that. And when you direct that, you have the right to direct that into your community. And if you direct it into your community, you basically are endowing America. That's what it means to endow America. And you can't do that as effectively any other way that I have found than to use the devices that the government gave us in 1969 when they created these amazing sections of the tax code, including Section 664. And that's why this program is called Route 664, the Road to Human Kindness, because I believe that if you use 664 properly, that section of the code which says you can create your own social charity, if you use that and you create an endowment, you will create human kindness, because you will be able to direct it in the way that you see fit, and that is a kindness that you're giving to your community. So the Route 664, the Road to Human Kindness, is really a very good explanation of what it is that we're trying to accomplish. Because once you have an endowed America, you will have human kindness. You will have the opportunity to be able to do things in the community that are kind to others. For example, you could create enough of an endowment to support a hospital entirely so that people could get free health care in your community because they have endowed the hospital, or you have endowed schools, or you have endowed daycare centers, or endowed adult care centers, all of the things that the community needs at a time. People who live in your community may need these things from time to time. Certainly schools, hospitals, care facilities, these are things that every community should have. So if you can endow those, that makes them free to use because you don't have to worry about how they're going to be supported. And in the same way because when you create an endowment like that, and let me define an endowment in that situation, the endowment that helps support a hospital is money that has been left into the endowment by the people who live in the community in an amount sufficient to produce the income necessary to support the hospital. There's a budget for the hospital. If there's enough revenue from the money that's been left by the people in the community, it supports the hospital. That's if you've ever seen the ads for the Children's Hospital. Danny Thomas and his family were very instrumental in creating St. Jude Hospital, and that was done through endowment. And they tell you that if you bring a child there that has cancer or whatever, there's no charge. And that is the beauty of endowment. So we want to create endowment for you, and then you leave that endowment where you want it to go. And that is what the theory of social security is, where you can take 664, a section of the tax code, and create two endowments, one for yourself and one that you leave behind. And what a beautiful thing that is to do. And I believe that you can create enough to support whatever lifestyle you want to live in the future, because you have the right to build it in any way that you want. The other beautiful thing about Social Security is you can build it with non-cash assets, and you can use those non-cash assets at a time when you may not want to pay a capital gain if you're going to liquidate them. And so there's all this kind of tax planning that goes into this as well. And that tax planning is also a part and parcel of what it's necessary to create these things properly. I have created through my work with Endow American Network Foundation, we've created an academy. It's called the Discovery 664 Academy. This academy is a place where you can join as a member of the public, and you can become knowledgeable about this type of planning and what it is to become an endowment engineer, which is a certification that we offer to those who want to carry this to a professional degree and want to become endowment engineers who can help others and work in the community to make everybody have what they need to live on and then pass it on to the community. And that's really a fascinating way of moving forward in this economic world that we live in. When we live in an economic world, it's very important to have financial education. It's important to deal with the financial world in the smartest way possible. My guest today is Kim Scouller, and Kim is a certified financial educator. Recently co-authored a book with Sharon Lechter called How Money Works for Women, Take Control or Lose It. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing really well, Les. How are you doing?
Good, Kim. Do women have different needs than men?
Well, women do have different needs than men. You know, the rules about money really aren't different for men or women, but women look at money differently. Our situations that we find ourselves in are different than many men. For example, you know, women end up oftentimes being the caregiver for children, for aging parents, maybe for a sick spouse. And those kinds of caregiving responsibilities can have a huge impact on the financial future of the woman who's providing the care. Oftentimes, she will sacrifice her financial future to take care of her family. And one of the things that Sharon Lechter and I wanted to do with the book is to really celebrate that many women are the caregivers, and to recognize that and, you know, cheer that on and help them understand how money works so that they don't end up sacrificing their own financial future in order to do the things that they want to do to take care of their family.
How do you work with that problem? How do you, when a woman, I guess you're dealing mostly with women as a counselor. So when you're counseling someone, what makes them come to you? What is it that are they recognizing this problem and then are they coming to you as a certified financial educator to help them?
Right. So, certainly recognizing the problem that, they are behind or they're living paycheck to paycheck, or they don't know how they're going to put their kids through college, or, they don't know who's going to take care of them when they get sick, or they're trying to figure out, okay, how do I create generational wealth? How do I take care of future generations? And so recognizing the problems that they're having in their own situation, they'll come to someone like me or another financial educator or financial professional, and we'll sit down and chart out a plan to help them, put together what it is they need to accomplish what they want.
Are these women generally in business? Are they entrepreneurial, or do you find most are employed?
I find the whole spectrum, but I will say probably in the post-COVID era, I'm
Mhm.
finding more women who are entrepreneurial minded than just relying on a paycheck from an employer.
Why do you think that is?
Well, we saw during COVID, a lot of women were either laid off, their jobs were, canceled, terminated, or, women just took a breath and thought, am I doing what I want to do for my life? Am I
Mm.
doing the things that are really going to help me in the future? So, we saw during COVID what's called the Great Resignation, where a lot of people, men and women, had those thoughts. We just saw a lot more women than men leave the workplace to start their own business or to find other ways to create streams of income for themselves.
So there was like a reality check, I guess. Financial literacy is not taught anywhere in most of the schools that I'm familiar with in the elementary through high school. And I think if you're going to college, you're going to have to take courses in finance to also become financial literate. But do you think that there's also financial literacy that's seeping into the public because of the devices that we have today, because of all the technology, and because it's easy to you can look up on Google or look up on any of the any place you can find information. So is that making it easier, I think, for everybody to become more economically sound?
It is interesting that there's a lot more information out there than when I was growing up. And I mean, you point out we weren't taught, finances in school. And currently, I think only 23 states have require personal finance to be taught in the high school curriculum. So, people learn it traditionally from their parents or whoever raised them, who learned it from their parents. And when I was growing up, it was we don't have enough, or pinch your pennies, or money doesn't grow on trees. And
Hmm.
so a lot of us grew up with those kind of negative
Yeah,
thoughts about money,
the
kind of a
conservative
scarcity
thoughts. Yeah.
mindset
Hmm.
when it comes to money. And we really believe that through education that we can move from kind of that negative scarcity mindset to a more abundant mindset. Now, certainly there is abundance of information out there on social media and on the internet. The hard part is figuring out what's right, what's complete. There's a lot of really good information out there, and there's a lot of really great information out there, and a lot of incomplete information out there. So, I mean, I love that it's much more accessible, but helping someone kind of parse through, okay, what applies to me? What's going to help me get where I want to be? You can find as much negative stuff about something as positive stuff about something. And you kind of need a guide, whether it's an educator or a financial professional or a financial coach, kind of helping you to weed out, parse through the all of the information out there.
Well, we are setting up, and we have set up the academy as a teaching tool. It is a school where anybody can come to learn about how to become an informed taxpayer, how to deal with taxes in particular, because taxes are such a huge part of what we deal with. So we want to make sure that it's available in a way that is easy to digest. I'm putting in a plug here for the Academy because we think that that's one of the key elements of everybody's planning should be this idea that charity and philanthropy should be part of that. Do you use that at all in your, do you go into the philanthropic side of the individuals who are you working with?
We, it's interesting that your program is built on this idea of endowment. You know, I guess we feel very similarly that if you help somebody get to a point of financial independence or a better financial understanding where they're making more informed choices, then they will have the ability to pursue more charitable endeavors, whether it's volunteer work or whether it's financial donations. When you're working with people, especially women living paycheck to paycheck, raising a family, it's hard for them to think about giving outside of the giving that they do through school programs or through their church.
Mhm.
If you help them get to a place of financial independence where they're not worried about how they're going to put the next meal on the table or how they're going to pay next month's rent or next month's mortgage payment, then you free their mind to be thinking about, okay, how can I have a positive impact on my community beyond what I'm doing today? Certainly, when we're sitting down and talking with a woman, we're looking at her situation and what's going to help her in her situation with her risk profile, with her investment horizon, time horizon,
Mhm.
accumulate wealth to accomplish her particular goals. Absolutely.
I hope they will do is if they get in a position where they want to change an asset because they want to increase the amount of income that it's producing, that they might want to consider using these devices, the 664 devices, to help them do that because they can make that transition without any tax, not pay any capital gains tax, get a tax deduction, and get the income. I think that's the hardest bridge for people to cross is that they don't understand that you can give to charity and you can get income back when you give to charity. Most people think that you give to charity and it's gone and you never see it again. But if you can give to charity under certain circumstances, give it to charity as a promise for the future, you can get tax deductions and all the income while you're alive. And then when you pass, that's when it goes to charity. That was the bargain that the government gave us actually in 1969. They were pretty smart, Congress at that time. Encourage, if you haven't kind of explored that, I think it's very valuable to increase the asset value. So, how's your book doing?
So the book is doing great. I'll do a little bit of a plug here. There's the book.
Hmm.
We're in our second printing now, and it's different from a lot of financial books out there, especially books for women, because it doesn't read like a textbook. You can read it in a couple of hours. It's got, fun stories that a lot of women can relate to. We've got some interesting characters. A lot of it is tongue in cheek, and a lot of it is very serious. But it's a
So
very
yeah, I want to ask you about the characters. Are those real people, or I mean, you taking those from case studies? I noticed that each one has its own story, and thought that was a very
right.
interesting way of approaching it.
So, we women find themselves in a lot of different situations, from starting out with student loans to getting married to starting their own business to maybe caring for a special needs child to trying to figure out how to put your kids through college and save for retirement
Mhm.
to a woman who is taking care of her aging parents and her adult children to an older woman going through a divorce and trying to figure out Social Security, to a woman who is a widow, to a woman who's escaped a domestic violence situation where she's actually starting over. So we've tried to cover as many different situations in the book with fun, interesting characters that women can relate to. Now, some of the characters are based on real live people who are clients of mine,
Mhm.
and other characters are kind of an amalgamation of different clients that my other women financial professionals have worked with in their practice.
So they're real life stories in some ways. One way they're a conglomeration, or they're real people actually have done that. Yeah. So the book is How Money Works for Women, and it's Take Control or Lose It. Thank you, Kim, for joining us today on Route 664, The Road to Human Kindness. And where can they get the book?
Well, you can get the book on Amazon, or you can send me an email. My email address is kim@howmoneyworks.com.
Hey, Kim, thank you very much for spending some time with us on Route 664, The Road to Human Kindness. And we hope you'll join the Academy. We are looking forward to teaching as many people as we can how this works, because it's so powerful. In fact, Wanda's written a great book called Social Security, How the Tax Code 664 Saved Generation Alpha and Retirement and the Nation. So we have some experience with these financial literacy books. They're really, really important. And we thank you for your contribution as well. We're going to put your book into our bookshelf so that folks can see it on our website at endowamerica.com. endowamerica.com, and you can also find our academy at endowamerica.com. And Kim, where are you located? I'm sorry, I didn't ask you before.
I'm based in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay. Of course, we're internationally heard on this telecast, and anybody who wants to reach out to you and maybe utilize your services, they can also find you, I guess, online as well. So, Kim Scouller, thank you again for being with us. Just talk a little bit about our radio station. We utilize the Route 664 radio. This is a place where you can hear the interviews that we've done in the past, and also some great music. And we have some very special shows, classical music, jazz. There's no political talk on the station. It is a place where you can go and get relief. So it's really important that it's available and makes you have a more sane day in a lot of ways. But the things that we're talking about in the economic world, in our economic conversations that we have with people that we've interviewed, like Kim, these are things that we hope will help you wend your way through the economic world and become more adept at making your life easy and under control, and how to do things. So, and get the book, How Money Works for Women, Take Control or Lose It. And make sure you visit our website at endowamerica.com. Listen to the radio station at route664.org. And we'll be with you again, same time, same station next week. Have a great week.
Once upon a time, in a town quite grand, lived Eleanor with a sharp mind and a steady hand. She had an eye for detail. Numbers were her game. And as she neared life's twilight, she sought lasting fame. One day, fate smiled with a windfall so bright. Eleanor saw a chance to set things right. She found Section 664, a tax code so rare. But for Kratz and Krutz, you're gonna need an engineer. An endowment engineer, savvy and wise. She crafted a plan, a legacy in disguise. A trust for her grand-twins, income to provide. But with a twist, they must serve, and must they, with pride. The twins took the challenge, and they ran with glee, establishing a center, a place for all to see. For animals and seniors, a haven of care. A place where love and kindness would flourish with flair. So remember, dear friends, as you navigate life, Social Security can ease your strife. With a heart full of giving and a mind so keen, you too can create a legacy unseen. Plan, prosper, pass on. That's the power of 664.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of Route 664, The Road to Human Kindness. I'm Les Winston, and this is our weekly podcast here on Miami Community News. This August 25th will be the 5-year anniversary of the podcast. I know because I went back and I actually started these podcasts at a radio station, Boca, in 2019. And before that, we did Funny Money. So thank you so much for all of your support. I really do appreciate your interest in what I'm doing. And many of you have reached out for more education about Social Security and 664, and I know why. It sounds complicated. I know it's different language and terms that you may not be used to, but it is really something that all taxpayers need to know about. So I got together with the leadership of the Endow America Network Foundation, and we have created and started online the Discovery 664 Academy for you, where you can join and get really useful information to unlock your financial growth. If you join the Academy now, there are courses that will help you reduce your taxes before the end of the year. That's before December 31st of this year. Join the Academy and you will learn how to avoid financial hazards, increase your income, and become an informed taxpayer. Join at discovery664academy.com or endowamerica.com.
The world a better place if we all just try. We could feed the whole human race if we all just try. And we could end all wars if we all just try. No need to lock your doors if we all just try. Just a little bit. Just a little bit, 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 just a little bit. Let's all celebrate love and never hate, 'cause life would just be great if we all got along. Let's all celebrate love, never hate, 'cause life would just be great if we all got along. Just a little bit. We can make the world a better place if we all just try. All the kids would have a happy face if we all just try. And we could teach the world if we all just try. Every boy and girl if we all just try. Just a little bit, 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 just a little bit. Let's all celebrate love, never hate, 'cause life would just be great if we all got along. Let's all celebrate love, never hate, 'cause life would just be great if we all got along.
Let's get together, love each other, each one teaches one. We all united in this for mankind. Your future and mine, bless the children of the world, say we'll love at a time.
Just a little bit, 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 just a little bit. Just be great if we all got along. just be